All right, everyone. Well, welcome to the Perfect Real Estate Assistant, coached by Monica Reynolds. Today we are on call number 2, and this call is for assistants only. And myself, this is Tiffany Skolnick with MAPS Coaching, and I just wanted to go over a few quick announcements before we start the call today. First and foremost, we want to thank you for taking a MAPS group coaching program. We definitely appreciate your dedication to both your professional and your personal development. Please note that each registration covers one agent and one assistant. So if you have not personally registered with your agent, please hang up now, be in culture, and contact us at fasttrack@kw.com, and we'll get you all taken care of. So since you're on this call, that means everyone has received the email with the call login information. Just a reminder to make sure you pay special attention to the call schedule and note that it is also posted on Basecamp. All assistants were emailed last week a link to join the Perfect Real Estate Assistant 101 project on Basecamp. If you have not received that, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's FASTTRACK@kw.com. It's possible the email has gone into your spam or the agent did not submit the assistant email address, multiple things. So make sure you get that to us so we can get you taken care of. It is very important that you do activate this Basecamp account. Please make sure you do that as soon as possible, as this is the only way that you can download the weekly workbooks or listen to the call recordings. And as a reminder, both you, assistants and agents will have access to Basecamp for the entire program, so that's for 6 months, and for 1 month following the last call. And all workbooks are uploaded 2 business days prior to the call, and audio recordings will be uploaded by end of business day after the call, so by end of business day Thursdays. Going over the format, right now everyone's on mute. However, Monica and MAPS does definitely values group participation, so we ask that you be in a nice quiet space for the duration of this call. When Monica asks for participation, just press *6 to unmute yourself. And once you're done speaking, you can just press *6 again to remute yourself. Just make sure that you do not put the call on hold, as you will be disconnected. So lastly, if you have any questions, you can just contact us by email at fasttrack@kw.com. That's FASTTRACK@kw.com. Or you can call us at 512-327-3070 and ask to speak to group coaching. And note that all emails and phone calls are answered between 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. So that's it for me. And Monica, they're all yours.
Great. Good morning, good afternoon. I'm Monica Reynolds, and I'm excited to talk to you, great assistants. This is my one thing. I am your biggest fan, and this is what I love doing. I've been doing this since I hired my first assistant in 1982. And I've been speaking to agents about assistants since 1989. And I've written 2 books that are on Amazon.com. No one else has done that. I don't know why I've become the assistant guru, but I love the job. I love the title. I'm the person that absolutely is your advocate. And I know that these agents are great agents out there, and if they're like me and they're a D, you know, they've got a million things spinning at all times, and great assistants like yourself keep the ship afloat and keep all the systems rolling. So I so appreciate what you do. I am a listing agent. I took over Chris Heller's business about 5 years ago when he went to Keller Williams as the worldwide international president. He now currently is, if you guys know, probably, that he is CEO of all of Keller Williams, which is very exciting. And so I've worked with Chris for many years. I've known him over 25 years. I was his coach for many years. And so I stepped back into the real estate business after being his coach for many years. And Chris, you know, and I go way, way back. So I had a very successful real estate career. So I'm a presenter and someone that will teach you things that we're doing here on a day-to-day basis. It's not theory. It's not, gosh, this is a great idea. I hope it works. No, we do the drill. Right now we've closed and pended over 70 deals so far this year. I have 2 buyer agents and 2 assistants. I'm sorry, I have 4 assistants, 2 buyer agents, and myself and Aaron are the listing specialist. So with that said, we crank out a lot of business and we work hard, and again, I'm doing the drill every day. So we're on track to do about 200 plus deals this year, and if everything goes according to plan, that's my goal. And so again, I want to share with you, I've been in real estate for over 36, 37 years. Assistance, this is my one thing. I'm your biggest fan, and I look forward to coaching you. Now, one of the great things that was going to happen is that I want to share the call, and I want to introduce Katie Kosich. And Katie and I go back 10, 11 years ourselves, and we've worked together that long. And Katie is an amazing person about efficiency, building systems, and getting a lot done. So Katie, say hello to everybody and tell them what you also do for Keller Williams.
Okay, great. Thanks, Monica. Hey, everybody. So I get the great pleasure of not only working with Monica Reynolds in the Assistance Training Program and being in this and doing the drill every single day as well, I also get the great pleasure of working with Diana Kokoska. And Diana Kokoska built this program and authored this program called BOLD. Now, I know there are about 100 agents on the call today that have been enrolled to the program today because they're agents at BOLD. And what I do with BOLD is I talk to all the team leaders, OPs, the regional directors throughout the U.S. and Canada, and I book and award all the BOLD locations. So just last week, we had 58 BOLD locations launch in 1 week. And similar to how you're juggling different files and dealing with different personality styles and different clients and all that, I do the same thing with the BOLD locations. And it's all about having systems, knowing the programs, and organizing it and keeping them detailed. So I have BOLD launching every single week, and we're keeping them together, and now we're doing this great program today.
Yeah,
excited to be here.
So thanks, Katie. And so what's great about Katie is that we've worked together, and she's been on many, many assistant programs and trainings. She comes to my office all the time. So she's very, very aware. And so one of the things that she's going to bring to this is that when you think about all the BOLD programs, and you think about the BOLD coaches, and then you think about the team leaders and the OPs and the market centers and the regional directors, you talk to all of them to organize these, right, Katie?
Yep, every single day.
Okay, good. All right, so with that said, our first chapter is on communication. And so this is critical. When you understand how to communicate effectively, you're going to the next level and fast. So if you look at page 3, there's 4 ways to communicate. We're going to talk about 10 tips on communicating effectively. We're going to rate your listening skills. And so let me back up there. I had the agents go through some similar material last week because communication is critical that both of you are on the same page. Get your agents on the first call of every month. I'm your advocate. I'm your biggest fan. I absolutely tell them they're wrong all the time. Here's how you do it. This is how you behave. This is how you communicate. So get those agents on the call because they're great salespeople. No one taught them how to be a great boss, but I can do that. And learn 21 tips for answering the phone. The phone's a cash register, so you might want to write that one down right now on this page. The phone is the cash register. And we're going to perfect your phone greeting and responses, and we're going to be aware of phone phrases to avoid and what clients want to hear. So you're always going to get a table of contents, and then let's go to page 5. So I want you to always look at the material before, and I know some of you, because it's the first call, didn't get the material or couldn't find it or your agent didn't pass on the email, we didn't have your email. Those things always happen. So here's the good news. You get to go back and listen to this call and fill in the blanks if you didn't have it, like I said before. Always look at the material a day ahead of time and look at the Get Ready page, okay? Do you feel you and your agent communicate well? Why or why not? Now, if most of you are honest, you're probably a 5 or a 6 on a 1 to 10. And I'm going to help you get to that 9, 10 range. When answering the phone, in what areas do you feel you excel at? What areas could you use improvement? If you're a high C, you've got to bring some energy to the phone. You can't answer the phone and go, "Hi, thanks for calling Heller Real Estate. How can I help you?" You can't answer the phone like that. You've got to be Disneyland. You've got to be the happiest place on earth. And have you looked at your agent's disc? And does your agent have an AVA? You need to read that. You need to understand who your agent is. If someone speaks French, you speak French. If they only speak Spanish, you speak Spanish, etc. So if you've got a driver agent, man, you got to know how to communicate with them, or they'll glaze over, or they'll ignore you. You won't know what's going on. So you got to know that you've got to create this word, what we call versatility. So you may want to write that word down too, is versatility. All right? And then have you and your agent discussed your DISC. And if you haven't taken a DISC, you need to. And what's great about most of the market centers, they all have a class on DISC and explaining it. And so personality styles are so critical to knowing your client's personality style, the buyer, the seller. We don't have a file in our office that we don't have the personality styles on there. That's critical to having a communication conversation that the buyer or the seller goes, wow, this is great, they get me. All right, so
and
let's
having
go
their personality styles and understanding their personality styles puts you in rapport with the client, puts you in rapport with your agent, and this will make your life so much easier.
Exactly. So I'm going to take page 6 and then I'm going to turn it over to Katie. But here's page 6. There are 4 ways to communicate. One is the spoken word, face-to-face. B, be clear. And C, you want to write in this particular one, be concise. And so it doesn't matter what personality style it is. Face-to-face is always the best because you can read people, being clear and being concise. Number 2, written word. So here's an email. I did not say Bob took that. Katie did. I did not say Bob took it. I said he took it. I did not say Bob took that. I wrote you a note. I did not say Bob took it. Betty took it. I did not say Bob took it. He stole it. I did not say Bob took that. He took this. So which one is it? So, you know, one of the things you're going to hear me say over and over and over again, and you need to write this down, an email is not a contact. An email is not a contact. And we don't build relationships over emails. Wow, they give such great emails, we got to list our house again. Hey, we want to list our house again because you guys had such great emails. That doesn't happen. So an email is not a contact. And one thing, too, be very, very, very careful what you say in an email. No bad news, nothing that could be misconstrued legally, no emails, no printed word. Pick up the phone. B, good manners, and C, write this down. Be brief. Nobody likes to read 19 pages of blah, 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 blah. When I get in one of those emails from an agent that wants to explain everything to me, I glaze over. I'm just going, what's the point? Get to the point, because I'm a D. 3, electronic is email, voicemail, and text. Now, under no circumstance does anyone on my team use texting as a way to communicate with a client unless they specifically ask for that. We ask, what's the easiest way to communicate with you? What would you like us to do? If they say text, we text, but we also say, I hope you don't mind. We need to also call you during the week from time to time and have a quick 2-minute conversation. You have to say those things. So 4 is nonverbal, facial expressions, body, gestures. I used to have an assistant, used to is the word, who when I'd walk by and I was coming up to talk to him, he'd wave me off because he was on the phone. And that was probably one of the most rude things that you could do to somebody is wave them off. Instead, you want to hold up one finger, which means 1 minute, and smile at them. Or, 5 minutes, meaning I'll come talk to you in 5 minutes. I'm on a lengthy call. So, remember, communication, this is how you build relationships. And being smiling, and we're going to talk some more about that on the phone when we get to talking about the cash register. Okay, Katie, what do you got on page 7?
All right, so page 7. If you look at this, this is the 10 tips of communicating and how to communicate effectively. Number 1, you've got to know your audience. You've got to know who you're talking to. What's their personality style? Are you speaking their language? As Monica said, if they're talking French, you talk French. If they're talking driver, you got to pick up the pace and talk driver. Monica's going to go over this a little bit more later on in the call. Number 2 is you always have to be clear and concise. Clear and concise. If you're not clear and concise, you'll lose them. If you're not clear and concise, you'll annoy them. You'll bug them. So number 3, state a deadline. So if your agent says to do something and it's your job as a great assistant to get these things done, you need to say to them, great, I'll get this done, and when do you need this done by? Get that deadline, get that date. And if they push back and say, get this done by the end of the day or get this done whenever you can, you got to say specifically which time. What time can I get this done by? And if it's something that seems a little unreasonable, say, okay, I'll get this done at 4 today. And then what is the saying? Under promise, over deliver. Great, get it done a little bit earlier. So next, use their name when speaking. This is a great tip to how to communicate effectively. Everybody likes to hear their name. Monica.
Yes.
Her ears perks up. She loves hearing her name. Bill. If there's a Bill on the call, they perked up. They love to hear their name. So a great way to get someone's attention and to have them like you is use their name. People love to hear their own name. Now, develop great listening skills. You have to be paying attention. Gary Keller teaches don't multitask. There was one thing. So if someone comes in and talks to you, you got to stop everything you're doing, look at them, pay attention, and listen. So develop great listening skills. Number 6, don't argue. Discuss the challenges. So if you have someone on the phone and you're not necessarily agreeing with them, you can't sit there and argue with them. You have to listen to what they have to say and then discuss the challenges together. Do you think
so
if a
Katie, let me just jump in on that too. So when a client is totally out of line or they're totally wrong, you never want to say, no, you're wrong, no, that's not right. You say, gosh, I appreciate what you're saying. You always, like I said, move into the pain. Jump into the pain with them and say, gosh, I understand how you're feeling. And here is what I know. Write the word and down. You never, and take but out of your vocabulary. Never use the word but. It's very offensive. It diminishes what they said and basically saying, you're wrong, I'm right. So you always want to say, I appreciate that, I understand, and. Okay?
Yes, and even the agents that are in the bold room, they're not even allowed to say the word but. It's not a part of the vocabulary. So as soon as you hear someone say but, just think in your mind and. So when, for example, when a regional director calls me and if something's not going well in a bold room, do you think I can sit there and argue with them about that? No, instead I listen to them, I understand what they're saying, I agree with them, I appreciate, and we show how we can discuss it and fix the problem at hand if there is one. So number 7, this is huge. Monica teaches this on all her calls, and she talked to last week with your agents about this as well, and they loved it. Write down 10-cent notebook. So go to Target, go to the Staples, get a bunch of 10-cent notebooks. And this is what you do. And this has helped you on a lot of sleepless nights, right, Monica? So and
there's spiral notebooks. You can buy them at school time, but you can just get the really cheap ones. There's spiral notebooks, paper in them, and, kill a tree, plant a tree, whatever.
Exactly. So then what you do is when you go in with your agent and you're talking to them and they're giving you a list of things to do, you write one thing on one piece of page of the notebook, and then you flip over the next page and you write something else that they have to do. And then when you do it, you tear it out, you write done on it, and you put it in your chair. So then they know that the task is completed, and they're not waking up and saying, hey, did they finish this? I never heard back. Is it done? What's going on with that? Anything else
and so I want you to write down done and done. And so the top ideas that we talk about at the end of the call, the agents, one of them was, gosh, I love the notebook, because a lot of agents delegate a lot of things to you. So I want to take it to another level, though, too, Katie, and that is when you get an email from an agent, everyone in my office knows that they have to acknowledge that email, or I'm going to presume you did not get it and you're not paying attention to it. So in my office, you have to say working on it or done. And so when it comes to someone coming again into my office, say Stephanie comes into my office, she writes down one thing, turns the page, writes down another thing, turns the page, and writes it done. So she'll go back and make a call to Jim Smith about something. She'll go take care of something else for me with MLS, and then she's writing done and done. And then she tears it off, puts it in my chair. I don't have to have a conversation with her. I don't have to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go, did she do it or not? So as crazy as this is, it's how we move the business forward, because a lot of agents say to me, I don't know if my assistant did what I asked her to do 2 days ago or asked him to do 3 days ago. So this is one way to move the business forward. What's number 8, Katie?
Number 8 is acknowledging the email. So just courtesy to anybody in the office and for everybody, all the clients, just make sure to respond to every single email, whether you're working on it or it's done. Number 9, write down call, email, call. Call, email, call.
Okay, so let me share with everyone on that. So write this down. When people are under stress, they only hear 25% of what is said. So a new listing, a new contract, a buyer that just wrote a property and it's gone under contract, they don't hear anything. They might even hear less than 25%. So when we go through the systems like a honeymoon checklist, you're going to hear me say, you call them and tell them this. I'm going to give you the scripts. Then you're going to email them and say, here's what we talked about as part of our customer service. And the next day, when appropriate, you call them the next day and said, do you have any questions? It's like when you're opening a brand new a closing, an escrow we call in California. You've got to keep calling them because they're going to be totally confused for days, and they may never come out of it. What's the last one, Katie?
Number 10 is mirror and match.
Okay.
What that
and I'd
means
also add, go ahead, Katie,
go ahead.
Sorry.
So mirror and match, what that means, if you're calling a lady, a grandma, 85 years old, she's talking soft and gently, you can't come in and steamroll them and be talking abrupt and quick. You've got to slow it down. You've got to talk softly, gently, talk the same rate of speech as her, so then that she feels that she's in alignment with you, she's in rapport with you, and you guys are working on this together. And then add down underneath number 10 the word tonality. Tonality. Can you read tonality in an email? No.
You know what? What happens, Katie, is that people make up their own mind, the tonality. You can imagine, I get some emails from Chris Heller sometimes, and they go, really? Really? Seriously? Because I'll read a tonality into it. And so you've got to be very, very careful about that. Emails can come across as some of the worst tonality known to man. So again, be careful what you write and be careful how you speak. And one of the best ways to watch tonality, Katie, and I know you agree, is you put a smile on your face, you have a mirror on your desk, and that's going to remind you about your tonality all the time.
Exactly. It's hard to have a negative tonality when you have a big smile on your face. So if someone, I know this is something that a lot of people have to work with. So put a sign next to your phone. Put a sign that says, Monica says smile. Put a big happy face everywhere. Even on the scripts that Monica's going to give us later on in the calls, put happy faces on. Remind yourself to smile. That will help with your tonality. You can say almost anything if you have the right tonality.
Okay, so on page 8, everyone, hopefully your Market Center has this information too. They go through it with you. And I think what you really have to understand is you've got to read your agent's disc. If you don't have a disc, you've got to get yours done. If your buyer agent doesn't have a disc, get that done. The Market Center can help you with that. Your team leader can help you with that. They have access to that. You've got to get these discs done. You've got to learn how to communicate with each other, and then obviously it then evolves into communicating with the clients. So let's talk on page 9, Katie, about the driver. And imagine that. I would call myself a driver, and Katie, you're a driver also. So let's talk about page 9.
All right, driver. Some of the traits of a driver. They're impatient. Imagine that. A driver's impatient. Drivers are quick decisions. They like action. For C, write down, they move fast, and they don't like when others don't keep up with them. So if you have a driver on the phone, be aware. Move quick, be to the point, and if you're not keeping up with them, you may lose them. Sometimes drivers can come across a little rude. Monica, has this ever happened to you?
No, never, hardly. Ha.
She doesn't mean to be rude, right? They just
No, it's just who you are. And again, I got to restate. Nobody needs to be a driver. Nobody needs to be a high I to be successful. It's just who you are. The key is versatility. So if you're a C and you have a high D agent, then you need to speak D when you're talking to them. If you want to tell them the story and all the little nuances and the ins and outs of a transaction, they're going to glaze over. They just want to know what the question is. So they move fast. So Katie, what do you have to do on a driver?
When you're talking to a driver, you got to get to the point. You have to stick to the business, and you always have to have C, organized thoughts. Now, when you're talking to Monica, she speaks quickly. She speaks in short sentences, and she has high expectations for everyone on her team and in her office. She doesn't need to know the backstory. She doesn't need to know the lengthy conversation. She just wants to know, what's the question? So if your agent's a driver, get to the point. He wants to know what's the question. Move on to the next. So one thing to remember, or there's actually three things to remember of what not to do with this when speaking to the driver, is display a whole bunch of emotion. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to see it. When you're talking to the driver, you do not want the lengthy story. Keep it short. And also when you're talking to the driver, do not have vague information. You've got to have specifics.
Okay? So on no vague information on all of that, just get to the point. Say, here's what you need to know. Here's the question I have for you. They don't want to know the story, all right? And so efficiency factor, get to the point with them. Get to the point is the answer there. Number one way to communicate, be brief. Greatest failing, can't stand weakness. Can't stand weakness. And greatest fear is somebody might think that they're soft. Imagine that, when a lot of times they're very, very soft, okay? Then let's go to page 10, Katie, the I, the expressive. What do they like?
Okay, the expressive. Now, this is shifting gears a little bit from the driver. So when you have an expressive on the phone, the traits of an expressive or with your agent, they like to toss ideas around. They like to have different things in conversation and go around. The expressive are the fun people. These are the people when you walk into the room and you see a party, they're gravitating towards them. These are the fun, happy people. It's always fun to get an expressive on the phone because you know it'll be an entertaining, fun conversation. C, write down, they like the big picture. Expressive likes the big picture. Now, a couple things of what to do with the expressive is make sure when you're calling the expressive or you're talking to an expressive in your office, you've got to leave time for relating and socializing. If you don't leave time for this, you've lost them. Another thing, be fun, energetic, and stimulating. Remember, be enthusiastic when talking to them. People are gravitating towards enthusiastic, energetic people, and expressives, those are them. C, write down, always have time. So they don't like when you're in a rush or you're quick to cut them off or go on to the next thing. They like to have a little bit of time to socialize. So if you're going to be calling when a client and they're an expressive, and Monica, when she comes back to the office and she has the listing agreement, she writes down on all her files what the personality style is of the agent, or excuse me, of the buyer. The seller, the husband and the wife. She writes down both personality styles, so that when you call them, and if you have an expressive client, you got to allow a few more minutes. You can't be rushed. You got to have time to do that socializing. So what not to do when? Go ahead.
Yeah, what not to do. Be careful on this one because these expressives can be easily turned off.
Exactly. So don't be aggressive with them. Do not be unfriendly. You got to act like they're your best friend. You got to get them on your side. And don't be mean or have a mean tonality. Write down, don't be mean or have a mean tonality. They do not like that one bit.
I like to, on this one, Katie and everyone, I like to write down an expressive. They're a party within a party. They're the fun people. They're the people that dress sometimes flamboyantly. They're always, got high energy. Number one, efficiency factor, they want to know the big picture. Where are we going next? What are we going to do next? They want the big picture. Number one way to communicate, give them very specific steps. And if you can make them fun and see an outcome to them, then they're really excited. Greatest failing, they will take on too much. I can do that. Okay, great, let's do that. Okay, let's go do that too. And their schedules are always just kind of a little bit chaotic because they're trying to do too much. Greatest fear, not being liked, or worse, being boring. They don't want anyone to think that they're boring, all right? So let's go to the amiable, Katie. Yes.
All right, Monica says the amiables are the most likable people. These are those really nice people. And a key word, Monica brought it up earlier, is versatility. So it's being able to adapt and adjust to the different personality styles. And as she said earlier, one personality isn't better than the other. You just got to be able to adapt. So a trait of an amiable, they like the productive routine. Amiables love the productive routine. Amiables are easy to get along with, and C, right in, they are the nice people. They are the nice people in the world, those people that you just are like, God, they're so great. They're so nice. We love them. So with the amiable, what to do? Break the ice with a personal comment. Write down next to that, they like to hear their name. Be very patient with the amiable. similar to with the expressive, and C, show interest in them. They like things on a personal level. And you've got to write in the notes over here, write the letters MMFI. Make me feel important. With amiables, this is especially true. If you're not making them feel important, you're lost. So what not to do? Don't present bad news. If you have bad news, so for example, if you're calling your client and the home's overpriced, you can't call them and say, I have bad news for you. Instead, you have to say, hey, thank you for taking my call. Do you have a minute for me? Ask for permission. Say, great, this is what we have. This is our plan for the next 30 days of what we're going to do. So you can never call and present them with bad news. B?
Right, you got a great plan. Basically, Katie, you got a great plan. In the next 30 days, we can get your home sold, and we've been spending the last couple of hours researching the market, and we wanted to share what we're going to do and what it's going to take. So we've got great news. We know how to get your home sold in the next couple of weeks. All right?
Yes.
Go ahead, Katie.
Exactly. Another thing you don't want to do with the amiables is you don't want to argue and have a raised voice. And C, write down harsh tonality. Do not have a harsh tonality when speaking to the amiables.
All right, number one efficiency factor with an amiable, willing to work on everything. So they are great team members, great, I can do that, they'll pitch in. So efficiency factor on that is, you've got someone who's willing to really dig in and help, and they will get the job done. Number one way to communicate, a workable plan. You've got to give them the steps, and they will follow direction. They are great, great team members. Greatest failing, they might be a little timid. Greatest fear, they don't like change. So if you're a high S and your agent comes back with 14 things that they want to change in your office, it can be a little bit difficult for some of the high S's to adapt. Analyticals, Katie, let's roll through that.
All right, analyticals. The trait of an analytical, they like and figures and to support the ideas. Now with the analytical C, write down detailed work. They're very big on detailed work. You've got to be organized. You've got to have all the details in there, and you've got to do this. So present the pros and cons. B, use a thoughtful approach and provide evidence. And C, verify all the information. With analyticals, you can't just give some facts and figures. You've got to have all the details about it and the specifics. Don't rush the analyticals. They are slow to make decisions, so don't rush them. B, give them lots of choices. If you give them too many choices, they'll never get anything done, ever. C, the critical thing here is don't give vague work. Give very good records. Keep your records. Give the facts and figures. Don't be vague.
Number one efficiency factor with these great analyticals, which most of you probably are on this call, my favorite personality style to work with is a CSI as a driver. C being analytical to take care of all of my mistakes and pick up all my mess. The S having a nice personality working with the clients, and I, you got to bring some energy to the party. So efficiency factor, number one efficiency factor, very thorough. Number one way to communicate, be organized when you're speaking with them. Greatest failing is that a high C is way too critical of what they do, and their greatest fear is to making a mistake and being irrational. Imagine that. Okay, so that's just a brief overview. It's something that you and your agent should discuss. If you have a class at your market center, you as a great assistant need to go because you need to have versatility. You need to be able to adapt. Most buyer agents are high I's, and if you're a C, you got to bring a little energy to that party, and you got to use their name. You got to have a little, have a little bit of a camaraderie with them. Otherwise, they will think you're cold and aloof and not like you being on part of the team. So remember, versatility. Page 13, everybody, rate your listening skills. So on a 1 to 10, so I had I told the agents that, I've had a person I've trained more assistants than anyone in the country and agents, and apparently it's been about 100,000 that I've spoke to over the course of the years. And one assistant said to me, I could come to work naked. And I said, really? Naked? Seriously? And she goes, yes, because my agent has not looked at me in the last 3 years. And, he'll be on his computer. I'll walk in and say, hello. And he goes, hi, what do you got? And he's still typing away, working on his computer, or he's looking at his phone, or he's looking at a file. He doesn't ever look up. And I go, gosh, does he hear what you say? And she goes, no, most of the time I'll tell him something, and then he'll come back later and ask me about it. I go, well, isn't that for a fun time? So you guys understand what I'm saying. So sometimes agents will ask you the same question over and over again because they're not listening. So as you speak with someone, take excellent notes, write down important points. So as you as a great assistant, get that 10-cent notebook, write down what the agent needs, write down, and hopefully you never have another conversation about that. My goal is to give you great systems and create a lot of efficiencies. So this is one of those things on efficiencies. You know, listen for personality and attitude. How do you rate yourself on a 1 to 10? At the top of the page here, I want you to write down team meeting. This is a great team meeting form. You're going to be building some tabs, TABS, for your policy and procedures book, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But this is a great team meeting to go over and rate yourself and talk about it with you and your agent. If you have buyer agents, give it to them also. Go to page 14. We're going to roll pretty quick here and so that I can open up for questions. Number one is probably one of the most important things I can share about with you on communication. The phone is the agent's cash register. When it rings, smile as you pick up the phone. It's the happiest place on earth. It's Disneyland. And remember, we are in the business of customer service. We're in the business of relationships. We're in the business of creating a great customer experience. Everybody's got customer service, and we're going to talk about making it such an amazing customer experience. Number two, I want you to circle. I'm not going to read all of these. Again, this is a great team meeting because there may be more than one person picking up the phone. Be enthusiastic and energetic. It's showtime. Speak clearly and think what you're saying so you don't say some crazy things. Number 8, handle all the incoming calls except for the money calls, which are potential buyer and seller and contract negotiations. If the agent's there, they should be handling those calls. Negotiations, you can't handle them unless you're licensed and you've been trained. Number 9 is a great one. Handle the baby with the dirty diaper. The baby, who wants to clean a dirty diaper? I mean, who wants to go, gosh, there's the baby with the dirty diaper. Let me take that. You know, no, but I want you to, as a great executive assistant, one of the things we'll talk about is that when there is a problem, you take the problem to the agent and say, I want to learn how to do this. Or you say, here's the challenge. Here's what I think I should do. Do you agree? You don't go, hey, this one's for you. Hey, I'm not taking this. This one's, you got to call them. They're really upset. And just say, hey, here's the challenge. Here's what I think I can do. What do you think? Can I, you know, am I on the right track? So don't try to delegate back to the agent. Okay, number 10, always identify the agent's office and identify yourself if you are the assistant. The worst thing that happens to me is when I call an office and I ask for an agent and I get, hi, it's Sarah, I'm not available right now, and I ask for Bill Johnson. So I have to go back to the receptionist and I say, I got Sarah's voicemail, I need Bill Johnson. And they go, well, that's Sarah, his assistant. Really? Okay, so I go back and I get Sarah's voicemail again. Hi, Sarah, I'm looking for Bill Johnson, and I've got a referral for him, so please have someone call me back. So that's annoying. So if you are Sarah and you work for Bill Johnson, you said, hi, this is Sarah with Bill Johnson's team, blah, blah, from there, all right? And always ask for permission on number 11 to put a caller on hold. May I put you on hold for 20 seconds? You know, don't let calls go into voicemail. I think that's the most ridiculous thing. Learn to bounce a call, saying, may I put you on hold for 20 seconds? I'll be right back. You pick up that call and say, I'm on another line. You know, let me call you back. May I get your name and number? Blah, blah, blah. So figure out how to bounce out 2 calls, and I'll give you some scripts coming up. All these are great points, but go to 21. It's Disneyland. And I'm going to give you the Disneyland close. I'm going to share with it right now because I know it off the top of my head, but you're going to have this written for you. By the way, thanks for working with the Heller Real Estate team. We are absolutely privileged to work with you. Is there anything else we can do to help your day? By the way, thanks for working with the Heller Real Estate team. Thanks for choosing us. Is there anything else we can do to help your day? You know, be gracious, be considerate, be thankful. All right, page 15, everyone. The perfect phone greeting and response. All right. So you have to have one way to answer the phone. It's a great day at the Heller Real Estate Group. How may I help you? You know, whatever whatever you are doing, have one way to do it. You know, thank you for calling Heller Real Estate Group. This is Stephanie. I can help you. Thank you for calling Heller Real Estate Group. This is blank. How may I help you? Whatever it is, have a certain way you answer the phone. And know when your agent's not available, they're lead generating, take a message. And if they only want to speak to the agent, you go, great, I'm Blank's professionally trained assistant. I'm trained to handle all of Blank's calls. May I ask you again, how may I help you immediately? So if you ask them again, they'll usually cough it up. So don't take their first answer, well, the agent knows why I'm calling. No, I only want to talk to them. So great, I could help you immediately. I'm Blank's professionally trained assistant. How may I help you? All right, keep asking. And how to handle an upset customer, be empathetic, B, let them vent, tell their stories, C, agree with them. Of course this is upsetting, your sign blew down. I absolutely understand. Really, seriously. Confirm. I hear what you're saying. I totally agree. Remember, we're going to talk about that. Whether they're wrong, it doesn't matter. Their perception is correct. So you always want to go into the pain with them. I feel for you. I understand. I get it. And on E, always, get a time that you're going to call them back and stick to it. So let me find out about that. Let me work on that, and I'll be back to you by 12 o'clock today. Always give them a time. And F, of course, is watch your tonality. Answer the phone clearly on page 16. I'm not going to go through all of these. But again, I'm going to give you a tab for this. It could be phone etiquette. You could put in there. And when you're hiring your next assistant, training the next team member or someone who's going to answer the phone, maybe you have a buyer agent that answers the phone occasionally, they've got to understand how to do this. And you never answer the phone and say, thanks for calling Heller Real Estate Group, hold. You never do that. These people are not orangutans. We are in the customer service business. That phone is the cash register. Phone phrases to avoid. I know I'm rolling pretty quick, and I'm going to open it up for questions in about 2 seconds here. You can't say, I don't know to a customer. You got to say, gosh, that's a great question. Let me find out. On page 17. You can't say, we can't do that. You say, hey, that's kind of a tough one. Let me work on that. And you can't say, you'll have to sign this by 2 o'clock today. Would it be convenient for you to sign that by 2? Hang on a second, I'll be right back. You can't say that to a person. May I put you on hold for 20 seconds or 1 minute? Let me pull the file. And you can't say, nope, can't do that. Nope, we're not going to do that. You can't say no at the beginning of a sentence. Remember, we're in the business of repeat and referral business. What do clients want to hear on page 19? May I, of course, as you know, of course, implies they have vast knowledge. I'd like your advice. I'd appreciate it. You're so right. Please is a great one. Person of your standing. So all of these are going to be in a tab in your policy and procedures book. So with that said, if you can hit *6, I know I covered a lot, but I want to get to page 20, which is creating the policy and procedures manual. Anyone have a quick question before I open it up after policy and procedures? *6, please, to unmute yourself. Okay, so let me go on to page 20 and then we'll come back. Okay, so visualize this. You've created a policy and procedures manual. Policies are dress code, days you get paid, days you work, days you don't work. A procedure is a listing checklist. A procedure is a thank you for listing with us letter. Procedure is don't pop the cork yet. Letter about opening a new escrow, opening a new closing if you close by title or attorney. So there's going to be 2 sections to the book. And so why do you want to create this office policy and procedures manual? A is it's a roadmap for success. It's a roadmap for success. Here's how you get to the goals. B, it builds a duplicatable business. And C, it builds a scalable business. So duplicatable and scalable. So if you're doing 25 transactions, 125, 525. It's the same process for everyone. D, it's a reference manual. Hey, what was that letter we used a while back? It's a reference manual. E, it's a training manual. So you're going to add D and E, reference manual and training manual. So I want you to order 2 large 3-ring binders, at least a 4-inch. I have over 450 pages that I'm going to get you. Get many sets of tabs because knowing you high C's out there, you're going to tab it more than 12 different ways. You're going to have maybe a table of contents with 30 different sections. You need a 3-hole punch to put all the training material in. So right now you're going to be able to keep up with me. You won't be able to keep up with me by month 3 or 4, and you're going to start pulling your hair out going, oh my gosh, I can't implement all this. No, you can implement everything I'm giving you because I've got 36 years of experience in many, many systems, and all of them are going to be ones that you're going to want to implement, so you take the most important ones. So for example, the tab suggestions would be phone tips or phone etiquette. So if you go to page 21, write down that, phone tips, phone etiquette. Number 2, you'd want to have a tab that says personality. And I'm going to give you a lot more information on personality styles, and you can start building some of yourself if you go take a course like at your market center. And then number 3, write down team meeting. That listening form was a great team meeting. Time management tips is a great team meeting. The phone information was a great team meeting. So some of those things can be, interplayed there. So you're going to put the material in a binder, and you're going to personalize each item and replace it with the training material. So for example, if you took the listening skills and you wanted to put it on your letterhead or personalize it or something like that, then you're going to, reproduce it. Then you pull mine out and you have a tab that says team meeting on it. If you want to do the 21 tips for answering the phone and you just want to leave it like it is, then put it in there under team meeting. Okay, so depending on how you're going to do it, when you get, say, thank you for listening with us letter, you may want to put it on your letterhead, retype it, add a couple phrases, add your agent's information, and then put it in the binder under letter library. So you're going to be getting a tab that will say letter library coming up. Okay, so policy procedures are dress, pay period, jury, employment, compensation, mission statement, benefit and leaves, etc. Procedures. Now, there's going to be a whole bunch that you're going to break out. Communication tips, phone tips, personality styles, sales skills, office meeting, listing procedures, pre-list package, buyer package, objection handlers, assistant scripts, job descriptions, schedules. Those will be coming up next month. So with all of that said, I want you to visualize why you have 2 manuals. One is for you and one is for the agent, so they see that you are moving the business forward. Plus, they need to take that one home because sometimes these things get legs on them and they disappear. So eventually the agent's going to be taking that home. So what you need to do, if you go to page 21, your homework assignment is you got to get the binders. You got to get the binders. You got to get some tabs. And you've got to at least have phone tips, personality, and team meeting and start dividing up this information. Okay, start using it. Okay, the other homework assignment is I want you to get your DISC test, your buyer agent, you, the agent, whoever's on your team. If you haven't been DISC, do that and read everyone's DISC. Everyone should have a meeting with each other talking about the DISC, how you like to communicate, what's the effective way, how you like to learn information. Really understand who you are, okay? And then the other thing is that, your homework assignment too is make sure that you have your phone scripts in place, how you answer the phone, how you put people on hold and ask for permission, how you answer the call when the agent's not there, can't take calls, are you getting all the information? And so, between the DISC test and putting your policy and procedures manual together and working on your phone scripts, that's enough homework. So, phew, I made it just about on time here. I always want to leave about, 12 to 14 minutes so we can open it up. So here's where we have some fun. So you get to tell me who you are, where you're from, come from the heart of the teacher, and what I like to do on this part of the call is tell me the one thing that you learned that resonated with you that's going to help your business. Because what you heard, I guarantee you somebody missed that on the call and they go, wow, that's a great idea. And so at the end of the call today, you want to say to the agent, here's the 4 or 5 top ideas, here's what I'm working on, so that because they've made the investment in you and you've made the investment in time, they've made the investment monetarily, this is a great team effort. That's why I need you to be proactive and say to the agent, thanks for putting me on that call. Here's the 3 or 4 things that I got out of the call. Here's 2 things I'm working on. Okay, with that said, everybody, *6 to unmute yourself. Come from the heart of the teacher. What'd you learn today?
Hi, Monica. This is Diane Rayner in Marietta, Georgia with the East Cobb Home Team. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you, Marietta, Georgia. Miss Georgia, what'd you like today?
I really, really enjoyed all of it, but I think the main point that I like, because it's really hard to take notes with my agent because she speaks very quickly, I love the 10-cent notebook.
Okay, so the high D, she's rattling off, so you say to her, okay, one thing at a time. Okay, I'll call them. Next page. Okay, what's your next item? So you back her off a little bit, so you can communicate well, and you go, great, let me go through this with you. So back her up a little bit. So that 10-cent notebook, thank you. And the agents love that too, so thanks for getting that. Good. All right. Number 2 idea, somebody.
Hey, Monica, this is Allison with the Health Team of Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay, Allison from Memphis, and there's somebody right behind you. We'll get them. So, Miss Memphis, what'd you like today?
Well, I have a hard time when agents call in and say, I only want to speak to the agent, so I like having a script where I can say, I'm their trained assistant, how can I help you immediately?
Don't you, Miss Memphis, want to say, ha, you'll never talk to them. I'm the gauntlet. I'm the door. So tell me what you want. I'd love to say that to them sometimes, but you can't. So, yeah, you say, gosh, I appreciate that. I'm Blank's professionally trained assistant. I can help you immediately. And if you say immediately, then they're going to soften down. Okay, good job, Miss Memphis. Thank you for sharing. Who's got Thank you. Who's got number 3 idea, please? Go ahead.
Hi, my name is from Montreal. One thing, I'm an agent, by the way, and I'm taking the class because, as you know, if we don't have an agent, we are one. So I have 2 questions for you. One, the thing that I remember is that when you're stressed, you only understand 25% of the message. I realize that. And another thing is, because I'm taking I would like to have some information about how to hire an assistant. Are we going to talk about that maybe?
Yes, that's coming up in that's coming up in a future session. And so I'm very glad there's some agents that are on the call taking the course, which is great, because you're going to have the systems now to be building, and the next month we're going to be talking about job descriptions. Then about a few sessions after that, then we get into how to hire your next assistant. So, yes, you will be getting that information. So thank you, Miss Canada. Appreciate that. Okay, good. What else did somebody learn today?
Hi, Monica.
Yes. Go ahead.
Hello. Hi. This is Jessica, and I was hired by an agent. I'm actually a virtual assistant. So everything that we discussed today is very much applicable to me. I was hired using the DISC program. I'm a letter D.
Okay.
And what I learned today in this session or in this training is that it's not just important to hire the assistant based on what you want, but on the other side, it's also important for us to know the agent. So the next thing that I would do after this would probably to ask my boss, like what letter is he? That
right.
way I can
ask for their DISC test, and I appreciate that. Thank you for joining the call. Ask for their DISC test so you can read how they like to communicate, how they like to give information, how they like to receive information. So you need to read the whole DISC test.
Yes.
That would be very helpful. So thank you. Yes,
right.
personality styles, everyone. Good. Okay, good. All right.
Hi, Monica.
Next one.
This is Miko.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. All right, what'd you like today? Where are you from?
I'm from Smyrna, Georgia. I actually work with Christine Bradley in Buckhead.
Oh, great. Beautiful area.
Yes. Christine actually went through your program, and she brought me on board to be a team manager. And the policy procedures, that's the main reason she brought me on, was for structure.
Oh, so, you'll get it. You'll get more than you know what to do with. So that's good. Great. So thanks for bringing that up, Ms. Buckhead, your luxury market there. So here's the thing, everyone. When you build this book of business, and don't be the one that I get a couple of emails at the end of the 6-month course, which goes fast, and an agent says, when are we going to get the policy and procedures manual? And I go, duh, you've been getting it for 6 months. So here's the thing, Ms. Buckhead and everyone. Get that binder going immediately. and start to build some tabs that you know that we're going to be talking about. And then you're going to re-tab them again. So we got a buyer package, we got a pre-list package, we got a listing checklist, we got a listing system. So, you know, put all of those things, customer service, letter library. So start thinking about some of your tabs, and we're going to go through every single one of those. So thank you for that. Okay, good. One more, a couple more.
Hi, Monica.
Yes, go ahead.
My name is Letty. I'm from San Antonio, Texas.
Okay, welcome, Miss Texas. All right, what'd you like today?
I like today the organizing, getting organized and having team meetings with my buyer specialist and my listing agent.
Good, because you're the captain of the ship. You got to get them into shape because they don't know what they're doing. I mean, you got to be the boss. You're the boss.
Right.
And so I'm going to teach all of you assistants. I'm going to empower you to be great leaders. The office, you are the boss of the office. You're the captain of the ship, and you got to learn how to communicate with these guys, and then they'll pay attention.
Right. I'm an S, and she is an S. My listing agent is an S as well.
Oh, gosh, so you got two nice people. So somebody better get a little D going. That'd be you.
I know.
All right, good.
Thank
you, Ms. San Antonio. Good.
Thank you.
Hi, Monica.
Yes, hi.
Hi, this is Anna with the Queens Home Team in New York, Jackson Heights. How are you?
Thank you. Good, Miss New York. Great.
I love the tonality, the whole smile when you pick up the phone.
Yes. Phone's a cash register.
I love that.
Write that down, everybody. If you want to be a winner with your agent, the phone's a cash register. High energy and smile. Great. Good. Okay. One more.
Hi, my name's Tia. I'm from Los Gatos, California. I'm actually the assistant to our OP. And
excellent.
What I liked best, and especially after he actually did the first call and didn't flake on it, was
Thanks for being honest. I love you. You're great.
is that we actually already had our team meeting and went through rating the listening skills. We did ourselves, and then we did each other. And he was surprised that I called him on, his incredible ability to constantly interrupt me and inhibit himself from getting information. So it was actually a really good team building exercise.
They're funny. Yeah, well, everybody's identifying with you. If you can't hear them laughing, they're all laughing. Everybody's identifying with that, so that's great. And I have a whole section, and I beat those agents up pretty hard about interruptions and about staying on their schedule and not bugging you guys so you can do double the work. I mean, I get to them really hard, so thank you for that. All right, so Katie Kosich, any other things you want to add for the end of the call today?
Our next call is going to be next week, same time, and then make certain that you put in your agent's schedule that they do attend every single call. Monica is your advocate. She is here to help you and empower you, and if they're not on that call, then she can't do that, so make certain it's in their schedule.
Yeah, I just basically tell them they're knuckleheads and that they need to get out of your way and that you guys are super, super smart and that you'll take care of the business and they need to quit answering the phone and they need to quit meddling in the files, and if they go near the files, it causes cancer. So I just pretty much tell them that. Okay, and I hope you guys are all good with that. All right. So, hey, it's been my privilege to talk to you, and Katie's been a privilege for Katie also. We thank you so much. Again, call next week. Get it in your schedule for the agents. Make sure they're on those calls. Force them on those calls. I will teach them how to behave. So thanks, everybody, for your time. We look forward to the next call on communication, a little bit more on that, some great systems. And thank your agents for their financial contributions. See you guys next week. Go have some fun today. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.